Oui, je crois que I think a lot of people have. Moi, je suis open, a lot of problème, mais j'aime bien quand même être très bien avec le French. I got so desperate, I just... Way back in 93.
L'artiste est une fonction de ce que je dis tout le temps, so God, we can turn into...
Je les aime, quoi, vraiment, c'est dingue.
Bonsoir et bienvenue dans le MAG. Mon invité aujourd'hui, c'est Billy Corgan. Ça vous dit quelque chose? Eh bien oui, c'est le leader des Smashing Pumpkins. L'album est là, il s'intitule Adore, il vient de sortir. Billy Corgan nous explique un petit peu la nouveauté de cet album, la nouvelle attitude. Le MAG des Smashing Pumpkins, c'est tout de suite.
What is the changing of attitude in this album for you?
Well, on our last album, Melancholy, we said that that was going to be the end of the band as a rock band. We told everyone that when the album came out. So when it came time to do Adore, we weren't sure what we were going to do, so we just started kind of acoustic. And then as the album progressed, it got more and more kind of futuristic. So it's kind of some kind of futuristic pop folk something. It's just, we just don't want to do the same thing over and over, and we don't want to be boring, and we don't want to be like other bands that get successful that feel they have to keep doing the same thing in order to stay successful. We would rather fail doing something new than to just continue to succeed with something that's ultimately going to get boring if it's not boring already.
And if you get boring, you kill the music, kill the song, kill the band, you know?
Yeah, I mean, who wants to be in a band that's boring, you know?
I think nobody wants.
Yeah, but you know, it's easy.
Somebody does it.
It's easy to say that, but there's, you know, when your last two records, you know, Melancholy and Siamese Dream in America sold over 4 million copies each record. So there's no sign that the band is going backwards. There's only the sign that the band is going forward. So it's easy to say that, you know, but there's a lot of pressure from radio stations, record labels, friends to stay the same. And you have to basically go against everybody to change.
So the fact that now you have 3 people in this band changed to the way of doing the music, making the music?
Only to the extent that on Adore we didn't rehearse. We just would go in the studio. I'd bring in a new song and we would just record it. So it was it was more simple instead of practicing all the time and then kind of making a song a certain way, then recording the song that way.
So, most of the people say you're a very busy guy. You kind of that's what people say, that you like to be inside your studio and create something. So why are you so busy? Do you need to have work all the time? You don't like to have holidays and have quiet moments? You have to work all the time, or is it just a legend?
No, I mean, if you look at the amount of work Picasso created, or Chagall, or Mozart, or Beethoven, I mean, no one questions why they worked all the time. And I feel the same way. I feel that's what I do. I don't think about it like yes and no. It's just yes all the time.
By the way, that you bring the song to the band, is it the democracy inside the band, or are you kind of despot with the 2 other members of the band?
I never can explain how the band works, because from an outside point of view, people have one impression, and then from the inside, we have another impression. So I never know what to say, you know. I think there's a public way of dealing with a subject of how a band works that makes it sound very interesting, but it's not really how things go. The band's always been very respectful to let me do what I want to do, so a lot of stuff that goes on is by agreement. It's not like I force anyone to do anything. It's more they just let me do what I want to do. So there's a real balance that goes on, but it's unexplainable.
So the new thing is that there's a lot of electronic drums in this album. There's no more drummer. I mean,
no, that's not true. There's drums.
Yeah, but there's a lot of electronic drums and less guitar too. And the sound is on the other side. I mean, there's something. So what is the changing of this when the guitar, no more guitar? I mean, not like before, like the way you.
Well, for me, it's just a way of achieving something different, and for me personally, the way to do that was to walk away from what I understand the best, which is rock guitar, and force myself to have to deal with different ways of making music, piano, electronic drums, and things like that. So it just helped me write different kinds of songs, but it still sounds like Smashing Pumpkins, you know. So I don't know. Everything is about appearances, you know. So on this album, we appear to be different, but we're probably just the same, you know. It's just, the world deals in such broad strokes, you know. For me, it's just a way of working. It's just a way of achieving something different. But everyone's taking it as a big statement, you know, grunge is dead, da-da-da. It's not like that. It's just, for me, it's just trying to do something different. Everybody else can play grunge till the end of time. I don't care.
No, the simple word to say it's a natural evolution, maybe.
I don't know if it's so natural. I feel it's very like a self-imposed exile. I'm living on Crete, like Napoleon, something like that.
One work with a guy called Flood. So did he bring this dark side in this new album, or you decide together during the recording of the album that's going to be a version like this?
No, he only mixed the album. No.
So it's just all is your decision, all is under your control. So why did you work with this guy? When did you have this guy to come work with you, Flood?
To clean up the mess. I made a big pile of mess, and he helped unmess it up.
Kind of housekeeper,
yeah,
musical housekeeper.
I'm responsible for the album.
So let's talk about this kind of dark and strange atmosphere. So what's happened for you in the? I mean, it seems that something very important happened in your life, or something like this. Or, as you say, the song are just songs, it's just stories, and it's not autobiographic, just like this. So how do you manage all that kind of trouble? It's kind of schizophrenia or something going around.
I don't know if that's really a question, you know. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree with the notion that, you know, bad things happen, so I made this dark album. I disagree with that.
Yeah, you're not in that mood. Because some people say, well, something very bad happens to me, and that's make me change, make me do something. It's not happens to you. Absolutely not.
No, I think things happen in people's lives, and you react to them one way or the other. But a lot of happy things have happened in my life, as well as sad things. But people want to focus on the sad things and say, well, the sad things are connected to the album. But my whole life is connected to the album, as my life is always connected to the album. So I guess I'm just tired of overly connecting certain aspects of my life to certain parts of the album, because it doesn't reflect the whole album. And then people get a wrong impression of the album. You know, like between, you know, my mother died in 1996. So a lot of people are saying, well, your mother died, so you made this album. It's not like that. I would have made this album if my mother was still alive. Of course, my mother dying had an influence on the album, but the album is not about my mother dying. And that's, I think everybody can understand that things happen, but it doesn't mean that, you know, you stop doing what you're doing. I'm very defensive at this point, after doing so many interviews, of people overly connecting my life to this album, because it's not true. It's not in, it's in the lyrics, but only like little stars, you know. It's not the whole universe.
No, by the way, when something like this happens in your life, it's influenced all your life, and not only a part of it.
Yeah, but it's had more of an influence on my life, but not on my music. So I mean, is the question about my life, or is the question about my music? See, I feel like we're talking about the music, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you consider the music like a therapy sometimes? I mean, because absolutely not too.
No.
You don't
I think
feel
it's the
that.
opposite.
Excuse me?
I think it's the opposite. I think music, being an artist, makes your life more difficult, because unlike the guy who just goes to the office all day and talks on the phone, you're dealing with it every day, emotionally dealing with it. It's very difficult. It's not cathartic at all.